Hello, everybody. My name is James D. Lee, and today I'm talking to you about several things. But first, let's talk about the Steins. Okay, I'm the creator of the Steins universe, the horror novels and graphic novel that's coming soon. The horror novels, great story about a young girl named Mary Jade Von Stein, whose parents tragically are murdered, and she must go live with her distant relatives over in Europe. Only problem is, when she gets over there, her relatives turn out to be vampires, werewolves, and living undead. So now you have this young girl who has to survive living with them while those who tried and killed her parents want her dead. This leads into a darkness, and who knows? Maybe some romance falls into it. You have to find out. We have links in the description below for the graphic novel, where you can go support back the graphic novel Rise of the Vampires, which tells the story of the vampire Count Vladislav Vicious von Kumpfen and his fateful decision and sacrifice that will lead up to 500 years to the modern time and the novels. So if you're looking for a great comic book, great artwork, great story, links are in the description below. Now, with that being said, let us talk about the monsters in the room, Disney Warner Brothers. If you have not heard this week, Disney is in a complete and utter disaster zone right now. Okay? So let's take a look, see what's happened. Indiana Jones TV series canceled. Will is canceled. 3 movies of Star Wars is canceled. More shows are being canceled. Layoffs are coming. What happened? What's going on? Well, this is what I know. Main thing that I know is a certain bank, which I'm not going to bring up their name, made a phone call to Warner Brothers after not Warner Brothers, but Disney, after their quarterly meeting. It seems they were not happy. Now, I don't know exactly what went on, but that's when after all these cancellations and stuff started coming through. What does that mean? It means most likely that this bank, which funds most of Hollywood's movies and gives out the loans for these movies, pulled their loans. What do I mean by pulling their loan? Basically, what happens is when a movie is being made, they'll go to a bank, or specifically this bank, and say, we're going to do a movie. We're estimating it's going to cost such and such millions of dollars. We're looking at a return of such and such millions of dollars, and we need the investment from this bank to pull it off, which will give the bank a profitability coming over. So the bank will either say yes or no. Most of the time they say yes. Now, what's been going on is since SVG went belly up and they had a problem over there, the banks have gotten really, really nervous. And they're looking at their loans and they're looking at the profits that movies are coming in. And if you haven't noticed, right now Disney and Warner Brothers' profitability on their movies is not doing too good. That's why the stocks are not going too good. That's why I've been bitching and moaning as well, because I'm not happy with the stock price either. When this happens, the banks will start pulling their loans. Now, what do I mean by pulling their loans? They'll go in and they'll say, like, we don't expect a return on this, so we're pulling the loan now. We're shutting you down. And this is what it looks like is happening with Disney. Because Disney, with the debacle they had with their streaming service and with the stock tanking like it's been tanking, and we're talking right now it's like $30 down in the last 6 months. $30 a share. And when you have some investors that have got $1 billion invested, that's a lot of money being lost. So they're looking at this cavalcade of losses and losses and losses and losses, and they're saying, no, we're done. We're pulling our money back. We'll invest it. We'll loan it out more wisely. You're a bad loan risk. So this is when you see TV shows getting canceled. This is when you see a lot of things getting canceled, and that's what you're seeing with Disney right now. They're in a financial situation where they do not have liquid assets in hand. That means liquid cash in hand to offset some of these loans. They don't have it. They're in trouble. And this is what's going on. Now, with Warner Brothers, they can take a hit like they did with Shazam. And I'll explain something about Shazam, The Flash, Black Adam. These movies were under the regime of a guy named Richard Hamana, who I think was a scumbag, who I think literally tried to destroy Warner Brothers. Luckily, he got fired. He's gone. He's history. So what they're doing is they're putting the movies out, trying to make some money, trying to cover like that. James Gunn hasn't done anything with these movies. Okay? He has nothing to do with these movies. So when you look at the movies, and I'm going to go all the way back to the Immortals, not the Immortals, the Eternals. From the Eternals coming forward, every superhero movie that's come out has not done optimally well. All of them. And why is this? Why is this happening? All of these movies have several things in common that have doomed them. These movies, one, minor secondary characters. Even their books were secondary. A lot of their books were canceled. Okay? And yet they're doing these movies based on these characters without standing backup. What do I mean by that? I'll explain. Right now, we have a movie. Disney has a movie, The Marvels. 2 characters, Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel. Ms. Marvel's creator is left Warner Brothers because why? Accusations of sexual harassment of male people. That's what, actually, she's gone. She's vanished. She's not even on social media anymore. Okay? So you have that character. You have Captain Marvel, which is Brie Larson. She's now the face of this character. What's happened? Both comic books are canceled because of lack of sales, because of lack of money coming in. Captain Marvel, for the 5th time, has been canceled. 5 times. But yet they're going to spend $250 million on a movie based on these 2 characters when they can't even sell 10,000 copies of books. That's pretty pathetic, folks. So what do they do with the movie? We're going to move it to the same week as Dune. Why? Because we know it's going to fail. We can use Dune as a cover to say, oh, because it came out in Dune, that's why the movie wrecked. No, it's already going to fail as it is. It's bad. It is just totally bad. Again, this is Disney's accusation. This is what Iger's doing. Okay? Iger right now is in the hot seat. What do I mean by hot seat? There's a little clause in the businesses. Okay, this goes with contracts. So like Kathleen Kennedy's contract and stuff. It's called performance. You have to perform at optimum, and if you're not doing it, then the shareholders can come in and do what's known as a vote of confidence. Now, if the vote of confidence is a vote of non-confidence by 80%, that means that the board of directors and the CEO can be automatically fired. And you can bring in another board and another CEO. All contracts under this board thing can be nullified. Okay? So this notion about Kathleen Kennedy staying until 2025, that may not happen because of her performance and of what her track record is and how much money she's brought in and what she's caused. That can nullify her contract. There's a lot of clauses in these contracts that can really get you in some trouble if you don't live up to your end of the bargain. So that's stuff that's going on. With that being said, you have Warner Brothers. Now, little history about Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers history is real clear on what's going on. When AT&T had Warner Brothers, AT&T's debt was ungodly. Okay, if you really want to know what the truth was on AT&T's debt, try this number: $568 billion in debt. That's over $500 billion. $500 billion. That's insane. Not Warner Brothers, but Discovery under David Zaslav had no debt, 0 debt. They're from Europe. They come in, they take Warner Brothers and all its subsidiaries with taking, I think it was like around, they said 50, but I think it was more like $78 billion in the debt away from AT&T. Zaslav comes in, he cleans it up. He gets rid of a lot of things. He dumps a lot of things, like CW, cancels a lot of shows they're not doing very well. And he basically gets I think it was like $38 billion he took off of debt in less than 1 year. That's a lot of debt that he cleaned up. That's incredible. Now, he's got James Gunn in here to clean up the superhero movies. James Gunn rolls out a bunch of movies, a bunch of TV shows. Here's the problem. Superman, Green Lantern, Batman, yeah, we know. The rest of the stuff, nobody knows. Nobody. What the hell? The Authority? You have the whole library of Wildstorm from that was started at Image Comics, went to DC. And you picked the Authority? You're talking about stupid. That's just brain dead. I mean, I can name the series that you should have gone with. Wildcats, Stormwatch, Team 7, Wetworks, Gen 13. I mean, come on, dude, really? Wow, that was bad. Then you got Superman. James Gunn, you have the chance of making the greatest superhero movie of all time with Superman. The greatest. Please don't screw it up. Okay? But there has to be an alternative to these movies. It's not new Lord of the Rings. It's not new J.K. Rowling's movie. It needs to be something different. It needs to be something that people will go, oh, that's something I haven't seen in a while. Let me go see that. Think about it. I mean, I'm not going to give it to you on a silver platter, but I'll just give you a name. Modern day movie of Perry Mason? I mean, what would it cost? $45 million to make? Do it right? Trying to figure out who did what? Murder mystery? May make you some money. Who knows? But that being said, yeah, there's a big difference with what's going on. Now, again, the banks are getting pissed. The banks are getting worried. So, of course, what's the banks going to do? They're going to start pulling loans. And you can see that most likely what's going on right now at Disney and their TV series and their movies that they're canceling is because their loans are getting pulled. I know for a fact that a bank did call Disney. I'm not going to say what the bank is, but it's a big one. So, yeah, they're in trouble. Now, let us get to the comic books of DC and Marvel. What's the big debacle we got right there? It's real simple. Stories suck. Artwork's garbage. Why? Because you're too scared to get rock stars. You're too scared to get the stars of comic books like David Finch, like Todd McFarlane, like Mark Silvestri. Well, I'll take it back. Mark did his own version and got permission to do Batman. And what's it doing? It's selling like hotcakes. But again, they're too scared to get big names again. Where's the big names? They're all on the independent circuit now. All of them. Every one of them. Jim Valentino, Billy Tucci. I mean, I can go through name after name after name that's on the independent circuit. They're all making massive amounts of money. But you know what? The media doesn't talk about it. The media won't talk about it. Why? Because it breaks all the rules. It does. It breaks every rule that we've got. Independent comic books right now make more profit, make more money than DC and Marvel. Okay? I mean, let's just say it. For the comic book, for the profit, for what they're doing, and the quality they're doing, is a hell of a lot better than what Marvel and DC are doing. I mean, let's look at IDW. IDW stock today was 73 cents a share, down 99.8% over 2 months ago. IDW was supposedly the fourth best comic book company in the United States. Now it's not even worth $10 million. Somebody with $10 million can go in and buy IDW flat outright if they wanted to. That's how much their stock's worth altogether. It ain't worth crap. All you got to do is look what they did. Look how stupid they were and how much debacle they made. Valiant Comics, how many books are they putting out now? 1, maybe 2 a month, because they did the same thing. And then here we go. Here comes the manga. Okay, let's talk about manga for a minute. Manga outsells any American comic book around by almost 10 to 1. Okay? You can take the manga and put it in saying comic books is doing better than they are because manga takes 90% of the sales. Manga is a juggernaut. And it will continue to be this juggernaut until somebody does something comic book wise that can rival it. But the problem is the stars of the comic book world are now independent because the big boys, or the so-called big boys, don't want to pay for it. And why should they? They're getting money from Disney and from Marvel. Or not Marvel, but Warner Brothers. The only problem is Disney's money is running out. They're in debt. They have no liquid cash on hand. Warner Brothers does because why? Because Zaslav was from Europe and knows how to manage money. But still, DC Comics is a complete crap hole. Last night, I saw a stream with 3 great men and 2 wonderful ladies. And I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names of the ladies because I'm used to men. But we're talking Billy Tucci, who created She 29 years ago. Successful, independent, strong, woman-based comic book. Woman-led comic book. And she's Asian. Fantastic book. Next, Brian Pulido, Coffin Comics, creator of Lady Death, 29 years. Strong, powerful woman character. Nobody talks about her. Oh no, we can't talk about these 2 characters. Jim Palmiotti. I'm sorry I always butcher your last name. I do apologize, sir. Okay? A man who was big in the mainstream, went to Kickstarter. Painkiller Jane, another strong woman character. What made them separate? Because they did it their way. They made better books. They made better artwork, better stories. They love their fans. They love their fans to be around them. Shoot, you can go up and drink with them. They'll hang out with you and chat the bull with you. They're fantastic. But you want to know something? You don't see them on the websites. They don't bring it up. CBR, the shield company for woke media, won't bring up the characters. But they're all strong female characters. No, we got to keep it quiet. We can't talk about it. Why not? Why not? Why can't we talk about characters that have been around almost 30 years, strong female-based characters that have been around 30 years, but nobody talks about them? They're a threat to the mainstream. They're a threat to Marvel and DC. Why? Because they're outselling them now. People need to understand things are changing. What sells is good stories, good artwork. Treat your employees good. Pay your employees what they're worth. Marvel and DC doesn't do that. Independent creators know that. And independent creators are thriving. Hey, Vero, thanks for dropping in. Like I said, when you have things starting to fall apart, like they are at Disney, and when you have it where banks are calling back their loans, you know, it's not going to be pretty. It's really not. And like I said, independent stuff's where it's at. You know, can this stuff be saved? Yeah, I still believe it can be saved. I really do. But again, for me, I've been investing for almost 30 years. So I kind of know what to look for and what not to look for, and where not to win it. So I'm not giving investment on. I'm not giving investment recommendations on the stream. I don't do that. That's your opinion. That's what you do. But until DC and Marvel realize what they're doing, stop what they're doing, and are willing to hire people who I call rock stars, the big guys, the ones that can really draw artwork, that can really tell stories, instead of going to, what is it, Fiverr or whatever it is, paying somebody that can hardly draw anything. I mean, some of these books are garbage. They're not going to get their sales up again, and manga's going to steamroll right over them. Now, on the movies again, they got to stop doing ooh. Oh, not good. But I'm sorry to hear that, Vero. But when you have situations, especially company situations, and you can see where you need to stop and you don't do it, you deserve what you get. And right now we're seeing it with Disney. Because now the bank is pulling the loans. That's what's going on. I mean, I can tell you just by looking at what they're canceling left and right, it's a bank. The bank's pulled the loans. And now they're sitting there going like, what are we going to do? Iger's now doing more layoffs. They've got to come up with capital to offset this loan disaster they're in right now. They cannot have another quarter like they had last quarter. They pulled way too much debt. In 2 quarters, they've racked up almost $20 billion in debt. From what's happened on the streaming service to what happened with their stock prices combined, they've lost close to $20 billion. That is stupidity, stupidity, stupidity. And why I'm saying this is, look at these 3 men: Brian Pulido, Billy Tucci, Jim Palmiotti. They've been around a long time. Jim Palmiotti is basically owning Kickstarter. I think Brian's made close to $9 million off of Kickstarter with Lady Death. These numbers cannot be ignored. These people, these independent artists who I love, okay? I admire them. They're fantastic. I remember last night, it floored me that Brian Pulido remembered me with Kelsey Shannon at a con in Texas in the 90s. That's almost 25 years ago, and he still remembered us and how much fun we had. That's the kind of relationship fans and artists should have. That's the kind of relationships fans and companies should have. But they don't have that now. You have it where the companies lash out at fans. That's stupid. You shouldn't be doing things with fans where fans get upset. You should be doing things to get fans into the box office. You're not doing it. Like I said, Marvel, like I said, WB's in a transition right now, so I'm not looking at anything possible. Yeah, Vero. Yeah, because today's comics, there's nothing there. I mean, the companies themselves have just totally, basically imploded on each other. And the thing about it is, you get a really good artist. Okay, I'll take David Finch. Put him on Batman, 13, 14 issues. Everybody starts picking him up. He gets too popular. And instead of paying him more money to keep on Batman, what do? They get rid of him. He's too big. We can't do it. We're getting greedy. We got to have our money. They change artists. Fans like certain arts. Fans like certain artists on certain books. If you get it and the sales are going up, keep the artist. Pay them more. Give them a bonus. Because why? Because more people will buy that book. It's not rocket science to figure out how to manage money and how to make money, especially in the comic book business. You get the right team. I mean, look at Jim Palmiotti and Amanda. Power Girl. Oh my God, that was great. Harley Quinn. Oh my God, was that great. What happened? They did Harley Quinn. They got to a certain part. They pulled them off. It's stupid. I mean, it is completely and utter stupidity to do this stuff. You don't run businesses like this. But I guess they do it in Hollywood. I guess that's all they want to do. So there's just so much stupidity going on. It's ridiculous. And people need to understand, don't give them your money if they're not going to be friendly with you. Okay? I mean, I'll put it to this right now. The independent comic book creators and stuff like that, you can go and see them at conventions, talk to them, have a blast, have good laughs. They want to be around fans. They want to be with y'all. I mean, I do when I'm at a convention, at my table. Come over, talk to me. I'll talk to you all day long. Why? Because you bought something. It's your hard money, and independent comic book creators are thankful, but these big companies sure aren't. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people that deserve recognition on this, but again, it's the independent market, because the modern stuff going on right now, no. I mean, Mark Silvestri's still Mark Silvestri. He's still fun as hell to be around. But it's now, oh, Jim Lee will be there. There's 50 million people in line. He's not going to have time to talk to you. Now, I will say this about Rob Liefeld. I saw him last year. Got to talk to him. He's still the same way. He still loves to be around fans. He loves to talk BS. He loves to have fun. He hasn't changed in 30 years. He's still the same Rob Liefeld. It's you got to go. The creators have to understand, without fans, we have nothing. Without fans, we make nothing. And this attack on fans has to stop. This attack on people has to stop. Why in the hell Are you attacking people who you want in the seats of your movies? Can't do that. Comic books, movies, it's the same thing. And again, like I was saying, if you look at the movies, the superhero movies, since the Eternals, they've all crumbled. You're using characters that nobody wants. Like I said, Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, books are canceled. They're gone. They're done. The Authority that's coming up, who the hell knows what they were? That's stupid. That movie should not be made at all. You look at Ant-Man and the Wasp, that movie tanked. It didn't do very well. Wakanda Forever made half of what the original one did, so that means it didn't do very well. Shazam, it bombed bigger than anything, but that was a train wreck because of what Richard Hamada did. Black Adam could have been really great, but of course, here we go. We're going to make a character. We need a character that's diverse. Oh, we'll make a carbon copy of Storm. We'll make a carbon copy of Ant-Man. Who the hell were they? Nobody knows. That's what I'm saying, Vero. Yeah, that's what I say. Other thing, race swapping characters just to race swap them for diversity reasons is racist. 100%. There's no reason to do it. And every time you do it, it backfires and blows up into your face. And then what does the company say? Well, if you didn't like this movie, you're racist. No, you're racist for doing it in the first place. If you're going to do a movie on a minority, get a story from the minority that you're doing it from. There's plenty of stories to do it from. What are you afraid of? No, we got to go take a Dutch story that was written in the 1600s and do diversity race swapping on one character, while the rest of her entire family's white. Makes absolutely no sense. Doesn't even work genetically. It doesn't make any sense. But it's diverse reasons, which again, I have no problem with diversity. My main character in my horror novels is a half-breed. She is. Why is she that way? Because I needed her to be that way for the story to continue on. It had nothing to do with, oh, I'm doing this for representation. No, it had to do with the story needed something to keep moving. It had to be fixed, and that's how I came up with the reason why I did what I did with her. There's a difference when you have to do something for story than with plugging in to be diverse. Big difference. And until Warner Brothers and all these companies figure this out, it's going to continue to crumble. Because I can tell you what's going to happen with The Little Mermaid. It's going to bomb. What are they going to say? Oh my God, everybody's racist because they go see it. No. Peter Pan. What did they do with Peter Pan? They destroyed the character of Wendy. If you read the book, which is called Peter and Wendy, there is a reason for Wendy going to Neverland. When they put girls in The Lost Boys, that reason for Wendy going to Neverland is done. It's over. Her character was destroyed. She was going there specifically to calm the boys down and act like a mother. That's why she went. Even in the book, it says the girls are too smart to get out of their cribs, so Peter couldn't take them. So again, you destroy. Because why? Political bullshit. If you're going to do a story with African Americans, do a story, a fairy tale, or a story from Africa. There's nothing wrong with it. Are you scared to do it? Most likely. You took one from Asia. You took Mulan. Why do you take stories from Europe and race swap them? Characters. To make them more diverse. All you do is destroy the characters. All you do is destroy the characters. You destroy the movies too. Yeah, Vero, I hate autocorrect as well. But again, this notion of characters, diversity, inclusion stuff, you got to stop. It doesn't sell. You got to know your market. You got to do your research. And unless you do that, you're going to have a big problem. You're going to have a major problem, and that's what's happening. And it's only going to get worse. I mean, this summer right now, the movies look like shit. I don't know about The Flash. I'll probably go see The Flash because I want to see Keaton as Batman. But that's the only reason right now I want to see it. The rest of this garbage is coming out. No. Little Mermaid. No. No. Peter Pan. Nope. Indiana Jones. Oh God, that's going to be a train wreck. And if you haven't heard, Indiana Jones TV series was canceled. All of Rian Johnson's Star Wars movies canceled. Feige's Star Wars movie canceled. The girl that did Wonder Woman 84, her Star Wars movie's canceled. Willow's canceled. All this stuff got canceled real quick. And this happened right after that bank called. Not only that, the diversity inclusion girl from Marvel got fired. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's going to get worse. Unless everybody stops, pulls their heads out of their asses, and figures out what needs to be done to correct this, it's going to get a lot worse. And as for the comic book business, okay, independence where it's at. And I mean it, independence where it's at. And I can tell you right now, the guys from last night, who I admire all three of those men and their wives, because the wives put up with them for so many years, but all three of those men, they're not going to go back. They're making good money. Their books are selling really good. And if you listen to them, especially Jim Pagliani, he said, and I'm quoting him, "Fuck the reporters. They don't give a shit about you. They only want your money. And when you start paying for your money, then they'll report for you." Nah. Oh, I mean, they'll show up later. I mean, I don't usually have many people, Vero, on my stream when I'm not live. I'm new at this. So, like I said, I'm just getting started. So I'll post, like I said, I'll tag people on Twitter when I'm getting done, especially the people that I mention. If I mention James Gunn, I'll tag him. If I mention David Zaslav, I'll tag him. And since I did Brian Polito in Coffin Comics, I'll tag him. Billy Tucci, I'll tag him. And especially Jim Pagliani, I'll tag him. Why? Because I think they need to know what I said. So that way, if I said something that pisses them off, they can come yell at me. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. And, it's, like I said, I'm new at this. I wasn't planning on making a second video as a Warner Brothers shareholder. I was going to start making videos, just specifically about my comic books, my novels, stuff like that. But it's like every week, the two companies, one's doing something pretty good, the other one do something stupid, and then the other one does something stupid. And, I look at it as with WB, especially with Warner Brothers, since it's my fucking money, I can sit here and bitch about it. No. I'm saying I'll tag them on YouTube because I mentioned them. But because, if I mention somebody in the stream, that did something or anything like that I think, like I said, Billy Tucci, Brian Polito, God, I mean, those two guys, 29 years of She and Lady Death. Nobody talks about them. It's one of those things. And, like I said, it's just one of those things where I get upset because it's my money that they're playing with, and I'm going to say something. And I have the right to say something. And if they don't like it, they can contact me. I'm not hard to find. I don't block anybody on Twitter. You know, it's one of those things. It's not that I'm going to sit here and say, okay, I'm mad, I'm upset like that, and nobody can respond to me. No, that's not right. That's not fair. And there's one other thing that I really liked about what Jim Palantino said, and I keep butchering his last name. It would be great to have just where you can go to the website and buy the comic, not do crowdfunding anymore. Just produce the comic, put it on the website, you go over there, you buy it, it's shipped to you, and you get it within 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, right now, a lot of us can't do that. I mean, I can do it with the novels, but I can't do it with the graphic novel. I got to raise the money, and I've got to put it together. Oh, sweet, Vero. Great. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. Yeah, man. Graham Nolan, Chuck Dixon, hats off to those two guys. I grew up with those guys. So, yeah, I got a whole bunch of books by them. So, yeah. But, man, congratulations. Congratulations on that book. Yay. If you didn't know, he got Joe Frankenstein, which is done by Graham Nolan and Chuck Dixon, signed, and it's a 9.8 CGC book. So fantastic. Hats off to him on that. Well, I've been going for almost 45 minutes. Vera, I'm sorry. I want to stop this a little short. I know you just got here about 20 minutes ago, so I had been going for about 20 minutes. So I'm going to stop this here. Again, like I said, I didn't plan on doing another video about Warner Brothers and DC and Warner Brothers and Disney, but the stupidity that went in, the stupidity that would happen this week, and especially after I found out that the bank had called DC, and then all of a sudden the show's getting canceled. I think somebody needed to know about what was going on with Disney, because this is going to be so much fun to watch Disney implode. Because the way they're going, like I said, what I think is going to happen with Disney is real simple. You're going to have Peltz and these two other guys. There's 3 guys altogether. They have about $4 billion in stock. They're going to let it go probably till the third quarter, and then they're going to blow a gasket, and that's when all hell's going to break loose. So probably October, you're going to see a massive change at Disney, and it's going to be epic in scale. As for Warner Brothers, I think Zaslav, once he gets CNN organized and gets everything cleaned up, he'll go to DC. I know he called for an audit on DC Comics, so we'll see what happens there. I'm still pissed about DC Comics. I think DC Comics could be doing a lot better, treating their people better, getting better people in there to run better books. But that's just me. And, one of those things said. So I thank everybody for coming, or whoever sees this video. Again, links to my campaign for the Steins is down in the description, both Indiegogo and Fund My Comic links. So if you haven't picked up the books, go pick up the books. And until then, I will catch you guys later.